Hello and welcome to this third tutorial on Studysatisfaction.com. In this tutorial we will discover how to create a lecture set. Note that you need to be logged in to use the lecture set functionality. Since I already logged in, I will skip that part. A lecture set is a collection of topics from one or several lectures arranged in your desired order. This functionality may be helpful when you want to read only certain topics from certain lectures. For example, when you read Introduction to Accounting lecture, you see that a few topics may need to be revisited in order for you to understand them better. So what you would do is mark them for review, and then you would go and create a lecture set which will include only the topics that you need to revisit. That will save you a lot of time because you will not have to go through the entire lecture again. You will just read the topics that you want to concentrate on. Let me show you how to create a lecture set. Let's click Lectures, then My Lecture Sets. There are two ways you can create a lecture set on Studysatisfaction.com. The first one is from here, My Lecture Sets page. We can create a lecture set by clicking Create Lecture Set, and we come to Create Lecture Set page. On this page there are two areas with information: General Lecture Set information and topics in your lecture set. General lecture information is the lecture set title and description, and that can be edited by clicking Edit General Information. Let's give it some meaningful description. For example, lecture set test, and we'll put a similar description here, description of lecture set test. When you're done, click Save. It will take you back to Create Lecture Set page, and you can see the confirmation that the information was saved. Now you need to add some topics to your lecture set. To do that, click on Add Topics. You will be taken to the page called Add Topics. Notice how this page is similar to what we saw before in Marked for Review when we wanted to add more Marked for Review topics. It's exactly the same concept and methodology. You can select a subject, management for example, then you can select a lecture, formation of business policy, get topics. This will give you all the topics within that particular lecture. We can select a few and select and add more. These are the topics we just selected. Let's add a few more topics from another lecture: management, theoretical approaches to management, get topics. We'll add a couple more topics, select and add more. Okay, these will be all the lectures, all the topics that we added from the two lectures we saw. Click Finish Adding. That takes us back to Create Lecture Set page, and again confirmation that topics were added successfully. These are the topics that we selected, and over here in a small font you can see that the lectures from which the topics were borrowed. If we would like to rearrange the order of these topics, we will click Organize Topics, and here you can you can delete some of the topics if you don't like them or you don't need them. And you can also move them up or down by using the arrows. So let's move this one to the bottom. Criteria of a good mission statement. Okay, and click Save. This takes us back. Again, the confirmation that the topics were rearranged successfully. And once you're done, click Save Lecture Set. And here is the lecture set we just created. Some basic information about the lecture set, which is lecture set number, lecture set name, description, number of topics added, list of all lectures from which topics were borrowed, and the date the lecture set was created. Over here we can see start reading. We can also edit and delete the lecture set. This was the first way we can create a lecture set. Another way is marked for review. And as we noted before, we can use marked for review topics, which are the topics you marked when you were reading lectures, and create a lecture set from them as well. So if you want to add some topics from employee motivation and some topics from organizational structures, we just select them and click create lecture set. This takes us to the same page we were before. You can see that topics have been added for us automatically. If we want to rearrange them, we would click organize topics, and we can also change the general information. So let's put something lecture set from marked for review topics, and here description of lecture set from marked for review topics, and click save. Save lecture set, and we can see that this is the lecture we just created, which is a lecture set from marked for review. And again, you can see lecture set number, description, and so on. Now, when you are ready with your lecture set, you can read it anytime, and know that these lecture sets are saved in your account until you delete them. So you can come create your lecture set and go do some other stuff, and then come back the next day and read your lecture set. When you click on start reading, that will take you to the lecture set you just created. The pages in the lecture set will include information about from the topics that you selected, and if you click table of contents, you can see that these are all the topics in the lecture set. This is the topic title, and this would be the lecture from which the topic is borrowed. And you can basically read it as a regular lecture, except that you created it and you have full control of what kind of topics and in what order they appear. Again, a lecture set is a very useful tool for you to organize your learning and make sure you do not always spend time by reading something you don't really need to. Instead, you can just create a lecture set, include the topics you need to go back and revisit, and then read only those topics. So that's it. Thanks.